Kings, we're going to be opening. We're going to size up a little bit with this limper here. It looks like looks to be a weaker player. I suspect he'll probably call a little bit too much pre, so try to get a little extra value out of him. Okay. On this board, we'd have some small bets, but not with this hand. So we're just going to be checking here. Okay, so if it's just over half pot. I actually don't know what to do here. Like, my natural inclination is to just throw this hand away. But I think players when check two in this pool tend to kind of overstab. And there are like a few draws out, and he just called pre. So we'll probably call one street. It's a good card for us. Okay, backdoor hearts comes in 7, 8, 9. I guess like if he, yeah, I think we can value bet here. Try to get value from an ace. I don't know if he's checking back an ace on the turn all that often. But we're gonna go with a sizing that I think an ace will call. And if he has a brick draw, that's fine. Hold on a second. 10-4 suited would be a little bit loose. Okay, so considering 3-betting here, I think I'd be 3-betting for sure if it was like ace-7 suited, maybe it's a little bit weaker hand. But I think it gets a cutoff range. Like we're still doing quite well, and I think we're gonna be raising quite a bit, 3-betting quite a bit here on the button. I think ace-9 suited is a fine candidate for that. Okay, my first instinct is to 3-bet this hand here, but looking at the big blind, he looks like, I mean, it's really small sample. Maybe the sample's too small to draw any conclusions, but I'd think about just flatting based on the big blind appearing to be a weaker player. Yeah. KS flop's definitely a lot better for his range than it is for mine. I'm not going to be just flatting on the button with hands that are doing great on this board. I maybe have some flush draws or it's kind of it really. Okay, we get a cold call from the small blind. That sucks. 4-bets are pretty nitty, so I mean, I don't really see any sense in trying to do anything but just fold that hand. Oof. 8-9 suited is close. This player's sitting out, so gonna be opening. If it was under the gun, it would be really close. I'm maybe mixing it in sometimes as an open, but I think like 9-10 suited is more of where I'd kind of draw the line for under the gun. Okay, here we get 3-bet. This player's playing pretty tight over. I mean, it's only 36 hands. Definitely gonna be 4-betting here. Sizing, I'm in position. I don't need to go huge. I think 2.5x probably is good enough. Okay, do I want to 3-bet king queen off against an under the gun open? Weaker. It's close. We're going to be getting it in. course we get there. So far, a common theme is like these pre-flop 3-bet, 4-bets. It's just like kings. I guess we saw that hand. It was sevens versus jacks. But I mean, for the most part in this pool, like once you get into the 4-bet area, it's pretty nutted. So I tend to play pretty nitty against aggressive pre-flop action. Okay, so we had a limper, an ISO from the button, who looks to be playing wide over a small sample. Don't really want to play this hand multi-way out of position. So I do like 3-betting here. Let's see, he went to 3 bigs. With the limper, we'll go to 11. This is actually one of the better flops for this hand. I'm trying to think his open range on a button, how does it interact with this board? I think with the king of hearts, I mean, it doesn't really matter, right? We're going to be betting this hand quite often and selectively for sure. But this hand in particular, we're going to be betting and we're going to be sizing up because we're going to be betting selectively. So, and here we are going to be 4-betting. Okay, we get there. As far as sizing, I don't think we get to have many huge sizes here. We don't really need any. This is a board where like all of our overpairs aren't going to be wanting to size up. In fact, they aren't going to be wanting to bet very often, but I guess with the draws out there, maybe it makes sense to size up a little bit. I mean, we have some nice blockers, so. This is a turn card where he actually makes a lot of decent hands as well, so. Easy game. I'm not actually sure what sizing to use there on a turn in that last hand. I mean, I think with small sizing, it's still really easy to get stacks in. And oops, I 3-bet. It's a good board for a 3-bet. We have all the best overpairs. Obviously, like he's probably not going to have a deuce or a 4. He could have some pockets, some middling pockets. Maybe with some fold equity against. I'm struggling to figure out what to do here. I don't know how much fold equity we have against, like, once he continues on the flop, I think he's kind of filtered his hands a bit towards like hands like 7s, 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, things like that. Maybe he has. I think like he chooses a. what is that, like 2/3 pot? Just trying to figure out how wide I would actually be calling that bet there. And like, I should have some better checking or some better hands in my checking range. Like I'm not just gonna be blasting off. So I have King Jack off. Ugh, I don't love it. This guy looks like he's maybe not the best player. I think it's just a bit better as if okay, we get 3-bet. His range should be pretty strong here. I guess I could roll and decide if I want to 4-bet, but I'm just gonna be letting it go. Okay, against 2 players, great flop for us. Really want to try to get the fishes money just in. But I mean, this is just a board, super dry, equities are locked up, and I'm just gonna be betting small. This guy looks like he's actually playing pretty wide as well. Okay, big blind definitely. I mean, the 9 maybe improves his equity a bit. He could have a hand like 8-9 suited or a hand like ace-9, something along those lines. But I mean, we're doing quite well here, and no reason for us to slow down. We're going to choose an overbet size and probably just try to get a big bet in on the river as well. I think I could maybe use a little smaller overbet there, since actually, you know what? No, I like it. Because the 8 and the 9 are so well connected and suited. I think I like using a bit larger. If the board was continued to sort of stay dry, I think I could have chose like just over pot, something like that. Okay, so obviously this flop's a bit better for us. I'm probably just range betting this flop in a normal circumstance against this guy. Like makes me think a little bit like I'm just more likely to get jammed on just because of his stack size. But I think we'll probably bet once and then shut down. I've kind of been exploring different strategies out of small blind. A couple of people in one of my study groups have been suggesting to just use a range check strategy after opening the small blind. I haven't tried it out yet, but it seems interesting because I have noticed like I'll use a range check on certain boards and the big blind is just playing terribly against the check. So I suppose it could be expanded to just range checking all boards and seeing how the big blind plays. This feels close. I think being so deep. Just let it go. Kind of be a disaster there to make a flush and play a huge pot. Okay, here. I think this is also close. I'm gonna be three betting here. Oh shit, misclick. I was gonna be three betting there. But against an under the gun open range, like I don't love it. What happened here? 125. Fours is another close one. Look around the table. Doesn't look like we really have aggressive three better. I mean, this guy maybe, but sample size is just so small. It's really hard to say. I think fours, I'm not in love with opening fours, but I don't mind it. I mean, at these stakes, like, I don't think the pool is really going to be punishing me for opening small pocket pairs from out of the gun. We're just going to be range betting this board, I think. Actually, you know, we probably won't be range betting this board, so that's probably a mistake. He check calls and checks. No reason to keep betting here. We're just going to try to take our showdown value, our very little showdown value. It's another borderline hand. Like ace jack off is really where I would usually draw the line. How's the big blind? It kind of looks like a reg. Just let it go. I think you could definitely get away with opening ace 10 off. Maybe it's a little tight to be folding, but I don't know. There's a lot of cold calling that goes on, and playing ace 10 off out of position. They probably go for another 5 minutes, maybe a little less. I think I'm just going to be betting quite often here. I expect his flatting range pre to have sort of some pocket pairs. I just don't expect him to be doing all that well. Like I think most of his bigger aces are raising. He obviously doesn't have any sets. Like, yeah, he's got, I mean, he has a set of sixes. Once he does call though, I guess he's filtered towards some ace X, some jack X, and some clubs. So yeah, I don't really see a reason to build a pot here with eights out of position. Okay, he checks back. I really just want, this hand really just wants to get the showdown. So be interested to see if he does bet what sizing he chooses. Yeah. Okay, we get 3-bet by the button. Ace jack suited. Playing out of position in a 3-bet pot kind of sucks. Our hand plays decently well, but it's also easily dominated. For this sizing, I think maybe we'll peel and see a flop. And I'm going to end the session after this hand, or end the recording. Against a small sizing, I'm tempted. I mean, I'll definitely continue with some ace highs, but probably not in this. His range should be pretty narrow. Like even if he's bluffing with ace king, like I'm crushed. And then, yeah, we just don't really have any backup equity or anything. So it's pretty easy fold, I think. All right, I'm gonna end this.